Mystery of the Vanished Freighter, The Untold Arctic Sea Enigma, 2009. The coastal waters near West Africa had long been troubled by oceanic crime, and cargo vessels often fell prey to well-organized criminal networks. Yet what unfolded with the MV Arctic Sea was unlike ordinary piracy. Typical sea raiders demand ransom, communicate with shipping companies, or at least leave behind traces of their actions. But in this case, nothing of the sort occurred. The ship simply disappeared, vanishing without distress signals, negotiations, or clues, swallowed by the endless Atlantic, along with its 15-member crew and load of timber. For days, the world waited. No messages, no ransom requests, no explanation. Then, without warning, on August 17, 2009, the vessel resurfaced. Russian naval forces located it hundreds of miles off Cape Verde, far from normal trade routes and thousands of miles from where it should have been. The ship was intact, the cargo untouched, and the crew unharmed. Yet instead of ending the mystery, this bizarre recovery only deepened the puzzle. Authorities claimed pirates had hijacked the vessel, intending to sell the timber on the black market. According to the crew, they had been held hostage, while the hijackers tried to steer the ship toward an unknown destination, abandoning it only once they realized Russian naval ships were closing in. But this explanation was full of contradictions. First, timber isn't a valuable commodity worth an elaborate hijacking. Second, after weeks missing, the crew showed no physical signs of captivity or abuse. Most suspicious of all, no pirates were arrested, no identities revealed, and zero evidence of a criminal group was found. Unanswered questions began stacking up. Why had the ship wandered so far off its route? What were the hijackers really after? And perhaps most disturbingly, what was truly hidden in the cargo hold? Theories soon erupted. Whispers spread that the timber shipment was just a cover. Some believed the ship was secretly carrying advanced weaponry, nuclear material, or classified technology. Others suggested it may have been part of a covert espionage operation. The Russian government's handling of the situation only fueled suspicion. Although they declared they had bravely rescued the Arctic Sea from pirates, they refused to disclose key information. The crew was secretly questioned. The alleged hijackers were never shown to the public, and the cargo was quietly removed before independent inspection could take place. International intelligence analysts noticed something chilling. The strange journey of the ship took place during rising tensions between Russia and NATO countries. Some believed this event might have been a test of Western surveillance. Others thought it was a clandestine operation gone wrong, but one fact remained undeniable. The ship vanished in one of the most heavily monitored maritime zones on Earth. Yet it managed to avoid detection for nearly 2 weeks. That simply shouldn't have been possible. Experts who studied the case found the timeline even more troubling. The first boarding attempt on July 24 was dismissed as routine. Yet it later emerged that this might have been the beginning of a highly coordinated plan. The ship then took an erratic path across the ocean, as if someone either wanted to evade tracking or confuse military pursuit. When Russian warships eventually intercepted it, the timing seemed far too precise, as though they already knew where it was. The absence of physical evidence made things even stranger. There were no seized weapons, no recorded radio communication from the so-called pirates, and no independent witnesses to support the official story. It almost seemed like the entire event had been carefully staged to leave no trace. After its recovery, the Arctic Sea quietly returned to commercial service, as though nothing had happened. But insurance companies weren't fooled. They classified the ship as a high-risk vessel and drastically increased its insurance fees. The original crew was eventually replaced, but whether due to trauma or secrecy, no one knows. Over the years, many explanations have been proposed. Some suggest an insurance scam, but no monetary motive has ever been found. Some argue it was real piracy, but no typical pirate behavior fits the case. The most widely accepted theory remains that the ship was part of a state-sponsored mission, possibly transporting hidden materials, involved in secret weapons transfers, or being used to test international maritime intelligence systems. The most disturbing part of the Arctic Sea incident isn't just what happened, but how easily it happened. In a world of GPS tracking, satellite surveillance, and global radar networks, a large commercial ship vanished without a trace. If it happened once, how many times has it happened without anyone knowing? The case also revealed serious weaknesses in maritime law. Even though many countries were involved, the investigation was crippled by national secrecy, political agendas, and hidden motives. The Arctic Sea became less of a shipping mystery and more of a political embarrassment. To this day, the official record claims the case is resolved. Yet it remains unsolved in every meaningful way. The crew's testimony was never confirmed. The supposed pirates were never publicly convicted. The cargo was never examined by neutral experts. And the truth, whatever it is, remains buried. The Arctic Sea sails again, but its legacy lingers like a ghost across the Atlantic, a phantom ship that vanished and returned, carrying secrets no one will speak of. Somewhere in classified government vaults, the truth may exist. But until it is revealed, the Arctic Sea remains exactly what it became in those strange summer weeks of 2009. A ship that slipped into the shadows and came back changed. The vanishing of the SS Poet, America's lost freighter that slipped into silence, 1980. To analysts who viewed every maritime incident through the tense lens of the Cold War, even the cargo of the SS Poet became suspicious. The ship's manifest stated it was carrying corn, but speculation soon took hold. Was the grain merely a cover story? Some believe the vessel might have been secretly transporting sensitive technology or restricted military materials hidden among the agricultural load. Such covert practices were not unusual during that era. Governments often used commercial ships for secret transport when they wanted plausible deniability. If the SS Poet had been moving classified equipment, that might explain both its sudden disappearance and the unusual silence from certain authorities. When investigators examined the vessel's maintenance history, they uncovered worrying facts. The SS Poet had undergone repairs earlier in 1980, including work on its hull and cargo systems. Some marine engineers later argued these fixes might have been substandard, possibly leaving the ship with hidden weaknesses. Yet even if structural failure had occurred, it did not explain why no emergency signals were sent and no floating debris was ever found. The fate of the 34 crew members became the most heartbreaking part of the mystery. Dozens of men vanished, leaving behind devastated families who received no explanations, no remains, and no closure. Without bodies or personal belongings recovered, loved ones were forced to accept legal death certificates based not on proof, but on presumption. No funerals, no graves, just silence and grief. Months went by. The official search slowly dwindled and was finally terminated. The conclusion: the SS Poet was lost at sea with all hands. Just another entry in the long, tragic list of vessels claimed by the Atlantic. But for those who knew the ship and its crew, that explanation was insulting and incomplete. Insurance companies launched their own inquiries due to the financial losses involved. Their investigators found the same infuriating emptiness: no oil slicks, no wreckage, no distress calls. But they also uncovered concerning reports about the freighter's condition and the questionable circumstances of its final voyage. Instead of solving the mystery, their findings added even more unanswered questions. Before long, the SS Poet became part of maritime legend, a modern ghost ship story told in the quiet corners of docks and naval schools. But unlike romantic sea myths of old, this one occurred in the age of technology. Radios existed, radar tracking existed, international coordination existed, yet somehow, a 10,000-ton American vessel completely disappeared in 1980. From time to time, debris has washed ashore in the Atlantic. Life rings, damaged containers, stray wreckage. Some speculated these might belong to the SS Poet. Each time, hope flickered, only to fade. None of the objects could be conclusively linked to the missing ship. The Atlantic kept its secrets. Today, we have satellites watching every corner of the ocean. Ships are required to carry tracking systems. Communication technology has advanced dramatically. But even with all of that, the complete disappearance of a vessel is still possible. The SS Poet stands as a chilling reminder that the ocean is still powerful enough to erase evidence, and lives, without explanation. The families of the missing sailors never stopped seeking truth. Some organized their own investigations, hiring independent maritime researchers and ocean archaeologists. They refused to let the world forget. But years turned into decades. Time buried leads. Witnesses died, records vanished, and still, no trace of the SS Poet has ever been found. All that remains of the ship now is paper, cold government reports marking her last known position. Then nothing. Somewhere beneath the Atlantic, perhaps in waters too deep for sunlight, the truth waits, locked in a silent tomb. Until that day comes, The SS Poet remains exactly what it became on October 25, 1980. A ship erased by the sea, a crew stolen by mystery, a question that refuses to die. Even in our monitored, connected world, the SS Poet is proof that some vessels do not sink. They vanish.